What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. In this video, we're going to be talking about just the 10-star difficulty of Brook. I will be uploading a separate video very shortly as we'll go through the Super Boss Kizuna. We've got two different teams for each variation of the Super Boss, and then we also have three different teams, variations versus each of the bosses for the normal variation 10-star difficulty. Now, this Kizuna obviously is going to be pretty tricky because, you know, we got the Super Boss attached to it. Super Boss is obviously a pretty big deal, but just in terms of the normal bosses, if you have some of the more recent characters like Legend Zoro, K-Dad, then you're probably not going to have too many issues with the Kizuna. But if you don't, then you definitely want to be searching for those characters as friend captains to make your life a whole lot easier. But let's actually just have a brief look about the Kizuna. Of course, we have the Kizuna Exchange, and just by a brief overview of the treasure boxes, it looks to be essentially what we expect from a normal Kizuna clash, unfortunately. For box 2 here, you can see that the kid skulls and the copies of Brook are now available. Make sure to not leave these boxes until you get those rainbow chests, because it's going to be very important to pick up all copies of these units. And then, of course, you've got the Brook Super Evolution Skull starting from box 6. Then, when you move into box 7, you'll get access to more of the Crystal Skulls for Brook. I believe also with the missions that are attached to the Super Boss Kizuna, you'll be able to actually get additional skulls just by completing a certain amount of runs, as we get another Alliance member with more tickets there, which is also good to see. So according to the missions, we can briefly have a look. Yeah, if you clear it 100 times, you get a bunch of rewards. I believe one of them will include one of the skulls. Yeah, here it is. So that's a very, very early mission to get one of those skulls. And I believe it's also attached to the assist missions as well. Yeah, 30 assists. You'll also get another skull. So as long as you can make it to box 7 and complete box 7 once, you should have a pretty good time in terms of getting your Brook and super evolving him, getting him ready to go. But I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the Kizuna Clash. Jumping into the swing of things, the first set of teams we're going to have a look at is versus the Dex variation. We're going to have our 3 teams versus Dex. We'll have our 3 teams versus Quick. And then, of course, we'll finish off with the Strength bosses. Now, the free-to-play teams you're seeing in this video are relatively similar to the teams that I talked about in my preparation video. So this team is going to be using Odin as the captain, who is relatively accessible because if you are a new player, you actually get this character for free. Obviously, you don't have to have Odin, but he's obviously a huge asset if you do. Battle 2 is interesting. We need to get rid of 5 turns of percent damage reduction, and the way that we're doing it on this team is by using the Colosseum Okiku, which can remove 5 turns of damage reduction as well as providing us with an orb boosting effect. And if you have the Kinemon, Denjiro, Ashura, and Dogstorm as your captain, one of your captains, then they deal with a lot of the stuff on Battle 3 in terms of the attack down that gets inflicted. Their super class special can give you the full board of slots, and then obviously their special gets rid of damage nullification, so you don't really have to worry about any of the things on the final stage, so long as K-Dad is one of your captains. Makes things a lot easier, as well as they provide you with an attack boost, which partners up very well with Odin with their orb boosting mechanics. Moving on now to a little bit of a different team. This team is going to be using more summonable characters, of course. Now, this is once again using K-Dad and Odin as the 2 captains. If you don't have Odin, it's not the end of the world. You can use essentially any slasher-focused captain is going to work pretty fine in this case here. Now, in this team, it is like a lot of overkill. Like, you don't need this much damage, but, you know, it just goes to show that if you have everything, it does make a big difference in terms of the damage potential. We have the Hancock, Nami, and Robin to deal with the color affinity boost on the final stage. In terms of this stage here with the Rainbow Shield, we have the Rev Recruit Okiku, which can remove that as well as provide a just the ability to reduce the enemy's defense, which is kind of nice. We don't have the full slasher squad to get the boost from it. but we do have the Usopp and Yasop character, which can provide us with base attack boost, a delayed conditional for the final stage, K-Dad of course for the attack boost. We're using double K-Dad because he is boosted in the event, and the double stats does obviously make a pretty big difference. So of course a relatively overkill team, but it gets the job done. And now looking at the final team versus decks is going to be a one team versus all. So this one team is going to take on all three variations. I'm probably going to have to tweak this along the way here because while it does do a decent amount of damage, it's not going to last forever. So I think that some tweaks will need to occur here, but luckily enough I was able to pull the Luffy from my discounted multi, so it makes a pretty nice little bit of difference because we do get you know, the additional super boss coins, which is going to obviously help us a little bit later on. But this team, in terms of getting through all of the gimmicks, Battle 2, there is the Rainbow Shield. Unfortunately, we are going to be using the Zoro special in order to remove that here. He's the only character on the team that can actually remove that. Luffy's really good though because he does provide all blocking, he does the end of turn damage, so he deals with the resilience on one of the other fights. And then of course, because he does all block on one of the later stages, we're going to have to you know, lock the slots that the K-Dad actually give to us, which actually works very well. And then on the final boss stage, of course, K-Dad as the captain deal with essentially everything, so everything else on this team is kind of filler, just to give us at least enough damage to get through. And of course, K-Dad are going to be carrying pretty hard here because they get the max boost, they're going to have the type advantage, they are the only strength slasher that we have on the team, so they are going to be kind of hard carrying this fight, which is why I think I'm probably going to have to change this moving forward. Now we get to go ahead and have a look at the quick team. So this is the first team here. Now, one thing I want to preface is ensure that you have the Jinbei support attached to either Toki, Sabo, or the Sober Mask, because when you use their special on Battle 2, you want to lock your slots for that turn. Unfortunately, I don't know why I forgot to put the support on the crew, which makes things a lot more difficult as you see. But of course, if you have the support of the Dex Jinbei that attaches to a Free Spirit character, when you use the character special, it locks Free Spirit character slots for one turn. Being able to secure those slots for a future turn is going to be very important here, because after you remove the attack down, which does occur here on Battle 2, when you reach the boss stage, any type slot that's on your crew will be changed into a super block slot. Now, of course, the way to get around that is to generate recovery or tandem or semla or rainbow or Wano slots on the turn prior, and then carry them into the final stage. So you want to have some type of all blocking mechanic, or you can only make it in a way where only certain characters are going to get super block slots depending on your scenario here. Luckily, we did have a tandem slot on Zoro, so Zoro will still hit relatively hard, but of course it is a lot more efficient if you're able to have your entire team with the tandem slots. And of course, Zoro's special is buffed further if your captain slot is a tandem or a Wano slot, so it is kind of important that you use the right characters and the right supports, of course. But despite all of that, there is Threshold on this stage, which Zoro can deal with pretty efficiently. And then Luffy on the crew here, Luffy as the captain, does reduce the enemy's defense, which will happen after level 30. Looking at a little bit more of a powerful team now versus the quick variation, we have the Zora and the K-Dad hybrid style. The reason why we're doing that is because we get access to K-Dad's final tap, which obviously is going to help us a lot later on, but obviously because as a captain they do remove 5 turns of attack down on battle 2, so we don't even have to bring a character to remove attack down for us, which is great. Also, they provide a pretty substantial attack boost to the crew if we do need it, so that obviously makes a pretty big difference. And one thing as well is we should have definitely used the Hiyori special here to give us a full board of Wano and also to lock those slots. Unfortunately, kind of just forgot to do that, but realistically you'd want to do that just so that you have the full board of Wano and you don't have to worry about getting super block slots. And then of course on the final stage you have to deal with the fact that your type slots are changed, which is why we'd have Hiyori on the team in the first place. But also after level 30 there's going to be the increased defense, which luckily Killer can remove for us, which is good. And Killer also does provide us with an orb boost. We have Law for color affinity and a chain boost, Usopp and Yasop for a conditional boost and the base attack boost, Zora for all of his chain shenanigans, which works out very well, K-Dad for his attack boost. Again, a lot of overkill, but it's a lot of fun when you do a lot of damage. Now we get to talk about the one team versus all that's going to be carrying us through the quick fight. Once again, K-Dad as the captain to remove the attack down on battle 2 is pretty straightforward. Remember that your type slots are going to be changed into super block, which is why we're going to be using the Luffy special to give us the attack boost, but mainly to give us the ore block. So then we can use the super class special of K-Dad, which will give us the top and bottom row slots into Wano and the middle row into Tandem that we can carry through into the boss stage. The boss does not change Tandem or Wano slots, so we're going to keep the slots that we got from stage 2. Zora to remove the increased, not the increased defense, but the threshold specifically. But Kara and Wanda, their special gives us a really good orb boost, but also it does reduce the enemy's defense to 0. And we can apply a defense down effect on the boss stage here, which is why we have the team built in such a way. And Kawamatsu, he's basically a unit on the team that can trigger the superclass special of K-Dad in the first place, as well as the fact that he does provide a chain boost. So that's really the only reason why he's here. There's no real specific other reason, he's just kind of a filler unit in the first place. But overall, another victory for the one team versus all, but again, may have to change it as time progresses. Now we get to talk about the strength fight. So this team here did go through a little bit of change from the preparation video that I made a couple of days ago, mainly because stage 2, we were expecting it to be at least something that we could hit for neutral damage. Unfortunately, we got hit with a little bit of a surprise, because if you do bring that mono quick team, you have to deal with a Dex boss on the second stage, which definitely makes it a lot more difficult if you're trying to use like more free-to-play centered characters. So in place of that, we're using this free-to-play Kizuna Kaido here. Ultimately, I would probably advise to switch Kaido out for something that can generate slots or also give you a boost if you are kind of struggling to get through this stage, because there's a lot that you have to deal with here. We are also using the World Journey Crocodile, which you can purchase from the Sugo Metal Exchange for 100 coins. Definitely worth it though. He's actually a pretty solid unit as long as you got a striker or a driven captain, which Shiki obviously is. Do note though that the Shiki that I do use in this video does have Limit Break expansion, and it is level Limit Break 5, so it's probably not the exact same Shiki that you're going to have. If you don't kill in 1 turn, he only despairs you, so as long as you can kill in 2 turns, you're going to be fine. And then of course on the final battle there is attack down, there is resilience, and after level 30 the attack down and resilience get buffed, and there's also hunger inflicted to the crew. This is why we're aiming to use Shiki, because Shiki can generate a full board of recovery slots, so you don't even have to bring a dedicated character with hunger. You can just consume 2 of the recovery slots that you get given from Shiki, and that will be able to help you out. And then obviously you get a full board of block slots, which Shiki can also deal with. Looking more now at a more, summonable focused team, I decided to go with a little bit of fun this time. We're going to be using Superclass Katakuri, just a character that I never really get a good opportunity to use, but he kind of fits really well on this team. So we are going to be using Legend Kaido as a sub, mainly just because he deals with the resilience and also makes the stage 2 a lot easier as well. So Kaido's kind of nice, he synergizes well with the rest of the crew. But of course we've got Smoothie. Smoothie's really good because she actually removes 6 turns of attack down. Which, remember, that's exactly what's going to happen at level 30. Before level 30, it'll only be 5 turns of attack down. But yeah, so just preparing for the future with that Smoothie character, as well as the fact that if we have a Powerhouse Captain, which we do in this case here, she'll provide a Chain Boundary buff. And then Cracker gives Color Affinity and a Chain boost. We have the 2 Katakuris to give an attack boost and an orb boost. So with the Big Mom, Sweet Commanders all together, they actually work really, really well in the fact that we get, Boundary boost, attack boost, orb boost, color affinity. It just works really well, and then like the other 2 characters are just basically filler units. But luckily Smoothie also has really good utility, and obviously the Beppo character, they're there to just remove the 5 turns of threshold that you have to deal with on battle 2. And now we have the one team versus all versus the strength fight. So in terms of the threshold that occurs on battle 2, luckily Luffy, the new Kizuna Luffy, does remove it with his special, which is fantastic. Now we're not going to be using the superclass on stage 2. We're going to wait for the boss stage, because what happens on the boss stage is you do get given block slots. So we can use the Kinemon Denjiro Ashura Doji Dogstorm special, give a full board of slots, use their superclass after the fact to get the Wano, to get the tandem. Works pretty well. At the end of the day, you probably can do it, where you lock the Wano slots. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. In terms of the resilience, right, that obviously is a little bit of an issue, but of course Luffy also deals with that. He does end of turn damage. Carrot for the orb boost, K-Dad for the attack boost, Zoro for all of his amazing shenanigans, and also Carrot and Wanda do have the potential ability of hunger to remove that, which is why they were specifically chosen for this case here. And then Kawamatsu just be chilling, of course, as per usual. But that is going to wrap it up from me. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'll be uploading my Super Boss Kizuna video sometime later today as well, so definitely stay tuned for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
Sa, 行くぞ。